Hi everybody, Jerome right here again, and I'm going to be decoding in this image Salvador Dali's painting, and this is actually soft boil no boil of soft beans, I believe it is, or something along that nature. Either soft beans boiled or beans boiled. It's because there's beans down here, by the way, people. That's the reason why. And it's my position that Salvador Dali copied this entire painting, this concept for this painting, from this image right here, an ancient Renaissance painting, which actually shows and depicts a demonic being. And all you have to do to get to this image is Google images of ancient demonic beings, or pictures of ancient demonic likenesses, and this image will actually come up. I put this in my last video, and it's a reference actually made of genetics. That's why how I am able to know that Salvador Dali copied off of this image to make this image. It references genetic splicing and genetic bridging. Okay, what genetics are being bridged off of? Well, if you've been watching all of my videos, which in a total of 100 plus, I believe 150 or so plus. Where's another tack? I just lost a tack in the middle of this. Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Here. Let me put the tack back in. And Salvador Dali has learned the ancient knowledge as to the true origins of mankind and their genetic manipulators, and he has made his paintings and life works a reference of what his knowledge is, in accordance to that of which he copied off of. I'm just going to go right into explaining these objects. You see this object right here? It is a representation of a penis. It is not Salvador Dali's idea. You see it right there? That object is right here. Identical. The same exact object. It's a representation of a penis being bridged over. And that's what's being said here. This object here behind this creature shows you a bridge between the ancient genetic stick, which represents that of the tree of life. Shows you a bridging. And Dali is showing here splicing by the utilization of a knife, which I've shown in some of my other videos, and that's what that is symbolic of, the knife or the sword or the axe. It shows a cut, a splice of ancient genetics. What is that penis-like object that Salvador Dali has there? You see the red first, it shows you blood and semen. This is an indicator here of blood going in one side there, and it's shown branching off into that. Salvador Dali does the same thing with, I had to bring it in smaller because it would have been out of the picture. This tongue-like object shown branched over from here, this certain location right here, the blood. Now, what else is there? There's a foot that Salvador Dali has right there. You see that foot? Squeezing off on the other end, showing you that that is branched off on it as well too. And then there's a foot between on this side here. Well, if you look here at this image that he stole this idea from, there's up in the top there, there's like an angel cut almost out of the picture. And you'll see a limb of that being coming down to the other side there, just as Salvador Dali had, and it shows you a genetic bridging. So you have a limb of what we would think would be a human limb, actually, and it's shown that it's actually coming in contact with that object, with that bridged over blood, showing you bridging over, just as Salvador Dali has done, instilling his ideas, showing you that it was bridged over, wrapped over, and that's what's being implied there. Now, what else is being said here? Oh, this gargoyle-like being right here. Let me move this over a little bit. See that gargoyle-like being there, holding that penis in his hand, like so? Well, of course, Salvador Dali could not put that in there, because he would actually let the secret out. But let me first explain what that gargoyle-like creature is first, because his likeness appears all throughout ancient Renaissance art and history. Here's that guy right here, standing in front of a pope. So why is he holding the Pope's good book? Look at the ring, look at the horns, look at the wings, and look at the greenish reptilian-like face of this guy. And look at this Pope. There's others encryptions there, by the way, because I know that this is a representation of genetic bridging with the Pope, because it's implied by some of the contact that is being made, and the snake skin that's actually wrapped around the Pope's neck there, showing you that the Pope was genetically bridged, which is actually the cause for all of what is being implied here in the first place. And this is what our cause is for: genetic bridging and genetic manipulation. That's why these images look and appear the way they does. Now, he's saying, I'm giving you something genetically. The book is implying it's just a book for those of you that don't know any better, but I know that these are genetics that he's being bridged over with the Pope. And by the way, people, this being exists genetically, not in the actual form and sense that this being is. This being is just implying of that of genetics, which are that of reptilians. Okay? Now, that's what this guy is stating right there. So, where is the Pope at here with Salvador Dali? I'm showing you that this is a representation of that right there. And it's showing you that there's a bridging over of that whole thing. Now, Salvador Dali has everything in this picture except that being right there. But now that I tied him with the Pope, the Pope is hidden. You know where the Pope is at? The Pope is right here in this box. That's where the Pope is at. Oh, you don't know what that box is, do you? Well, through my paranormal experience and encounter, I can see through all things. I can see the Pope in there, in that box. I can see him in there hiding. Here, let me draw him for you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Now, I mean, I know some of you expect that because I have worked miracles in some of my other drawings. The box with that penis over top of it shows you that that box was cross-referenced. So what does that box represent with that penis going over top of it? Well, the same thing that's here. It represents clerical, the Gothic presence, a reptilian presence with Christianity, and a representation of Christianity and the Pope, which is the hallmark for that of Christianity. So, what is that box then, people? Can you see it? Let me bring it in closer. Can you tell what that box is without me telling you? I don't think you could guess in a million years what it is. I don't think that nobody could guess what that box is. It's a confessional booth. One that you find in ancient history in the churches. More so in the Gothic times. Now check this out. In case you forgot what one looked like, I just happen to have an image of one right here. One with the cross on the top of it. You see that? See that cross up there? Look at that, people. An identical box to this. That's what that is. When you Google that image, even has the split door and everything else there. Look at that. You see that? Instead of a cross being up there, Salvador Dali has that penis laid across, as it is over here, indicating a cross reference of genetics, bridging, genetic bridging and splicing as indicated by the knife. And that is also what is being said here with this guy. You have to see my video that was before this with this guy too, because he represents that of blackness. Okay, our black ancestor, the ape, and Africans. Okay, now I'm going to show you some more encryptions and all. Is there something else? Feels like I'm missing something here. Oh, in case some of you are wondering how could Salvador Dali do such a thing, let me give you a little bit of explanation and history of Salvador Dali. Salvador Dali is no stranger to religion. In fact, I think he did he converted to Christianity in one of his several visits to Rome, to the Vatican. In one of his trips, he converted, and then in another trip, well, I'm saying that he went there, that he was genetically bridged with our dear Pope that he was visiting with, because this is what happens when such figures go there that have this kind of knowledge, and I know that for a fact. He was bridged the second time he went there when he married his wife Gala, who was married to another artist that depicts such things and knowledge in his art as well too, and I forget his name, it escapes me. But Salvador Dali went on to show artwork with Gala, which includes that of snakes around their necks and a little bit of everything there going on with that, and it's all implying the same indications as everything that I have just now said in the above. But anyway, Salvador Dali could not find himself comfortable with a woman and a female vagina, so he had a phobia for a vagina. But he draws penises and everything very well, implying that that he definitely was that of a penis man for sure. Now, Salvador Dali has other artworks out. This is a woman being chastised by her own chastity belt. You see all of these flying penises? I have a video out on this too, and you can't see the face up in there, I guess, and it's one of those dildos in this person's mouth up here in the clouds. Look at how the bar is broken, going around through these flying dildos and broken and coming around again and then branching off. You see how they're going? This is what you call genetic bridging. A bar being broken genetically. And Salvador Dali is implying genetics that were sent in from from our solar system, out of space, into our world, was genetically bridged over and ultimately landed into the image of what woman is here, shown from what is there. Sounds crazy, right? Okay, keep your mind on those dildos, because I want to show you how Salvador Dali candidly brings those same dildos into play when he depicts our popes that he has visited on several occasions. And they don't mind this kind of work with him having flying dildos and penises. Look, and condom-like object slipping off of his head, and look, and wrapped around his head, indicating that he is sucking penis, because these are like condom-like objects. Look, dildos. Look, bags over his head. What do that say? What do that look? Flying over his head and landing on his head. He's implying that he sucked the Pope's penis. You see the Pope there waving, the waving man? Hi, Salvador Dali. I come to get my penis sucked. And Salvador Dali said, come on, look. I am the penis man to come to for this. Look at these flying dildos. Now, Salvador Dali is welcomed in Rome at the Vatican and has this type of artwork out and boastfully indicates that this is what occurred. Now, he also has the same similar message out with Walt Disney in their collaboration of artwork, which I'm thumbing through. I don't think I have it here. I think I have it in my Disney file. I should have had one here, but okay, but it's definitely in my Disney file. Here's an image of him. Well, I don't even want to do that Salvador Dali there, but I'm gonna go through another image, but not right now with that, because Salvador Dali has a long list of this nonsense and showing it. But people, how can this man be welcomed into a Catholic community, to a Pope, and he has flying dildos around himself, and with a Pope coming at him? And I'm telling you that all of this represents genetic bridging, and he's implying that he had sexual contacts with this man. They with each other. Alright. Here's another image, Christian-like image, made by Salvador Dali. Divine person there hanging on the cross, again representing that. Oh, and here is the cross, by the way. The crosses, tall crosses there, people, in case you can't see them. This is Coming to America, or Discovery of America by Salvador Dali. There's the ship coming in like Christopher Columbus. You see all of the insinuations of the Pope's staff and all of this stuff coming on to America. Salvador Dali showing again. But what you don't see is up here, encrypted, until I showed you, is the being of a reptilian. There's an eye, there's an eye. Look at like the antennae coming off the mouth. On either side, there's a reptilian-like ape over here, and then there's a cross in the mouth of this reptilian head. There's the crosses showing you, look, laid sideways and all, people, showing you that there is definitely a cross-referencing of these genetics. There's no mistakes allowed. There's sharks over here. Look at the shark there, coming off the side with the worm-like creature coming out, touching this staff here, showing you that, look, there is genetic bridging, and we have definite knowledge of how this genetic bridging happened. In the sail, there is a encryption of a whale. And on the head of the whale attached is another reptilian being that is almost identical to this one. Could be the cousin, because they look alike. Not only does this reptilian have antennae, and those antennae stencils coming out by his face, his cheeks, and his eyebrows, but on his head as well. And on this one over here, on the left side, it attaches that the human hand of a man, which shows you that we are one, and I was created through this cocktail of knowledge and existences. There's the image of a naked man showing you that he's attached to this reptilian being. Up here, there's another encryption of that of a shark. And there is my baby right here, who appears for me often. Even got eyeshadow on, and her open mouth, and her witch-like nose, and her elongated chin there. The witch-like woman I dub as the mother of creation, who appears where everything is to be created or referencing to be created. You will see her witch-like face there. She is Medusa. She is Madonna. She is Mary. She is every woman that is in existence today. She is the mother of creation. She is every man too, by the way. Yeah. She is in us all. Look at these tall crosses. Look at this knowledge, people. This knowledge is not supposed to be known. And here this man has a blueprint in his artistry showing you that these genetics were sent off to America by religious groups. One more time. Salvador Dali is commemorated around the world. I'm going to go back to this image. Here this guy is in Washington, D.C. In Philadelphia. At the Philadelphia Museum on the steps. Dali. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to make a separate video about this. Look at this joker. If I was drawing pornographic images with the Pope, hold on, where we at here? I know damn well I wouldn't actually be being commemorated in the way that this man is being commemorated. Welcome to Vatican City. After showing that he is capable of drawing such art with dildos and penises. And they are dildos and penises, people, because let's not forget that I just showed you that he has them shown right here in this in his painting of the woman being chastised by her own chastity belt. That is showing that, right? Going up her butt and flying around her head. Look at that, flying around her head, just as they are here. The same objects. Hold on, let me put them side by side so you can see that they are, in fact, the same objects. See the little circular holes on the back? Just as he put here. Hold on, let me bring this back over. Look, he even makes them the same way. See the circle holes in the back of them? You see that? So we know that, and he is making sexual suggestion there. You see that, right? So these are the same objects right here. But in this case, he has the Pope, and he showed these objects over his head. So he's telling us that he is a homosexual, and the Pope, him and the Pope, is having sexual encounters. You don't think the Pope is just watching, do you? He is saying, look, this guy is genetically bridged with me, and he shows the wrong way. I'm taking on the Pope. I'm taking the Pope's genetics. The Pope is giving me, look, me and the Pope is doing each other. That's what Salvador Dali is saying with that painting. I want to make that point very clear before I get back to this. Now, here we are again, back to the main topic of everything that I'm suggesting here. There is a confessional box with a cross on the top. Salvador Dali candidly takes a confessional box, and instead of putting the cross symbol on the top, he lays a penis across the top of it. A penis that I showed you that also is over here with the Gothic-like being. And I showed you that the Pope is tied with that Gothic-like being. So it's telling you that this Pope, this knowledge of everything that I've been telling you, that the Vatican City is a cross-referencing of ancient genetics. This is what this cross symbolizes. Cross-referencing of our genetics. Through my paranormal experience and encounter, I can show you this. Anything that references it, I don't care what it is. It could be a cartoon on TV. It could be Tinkerbell in Disney, which I can actually decode as well. It could be anything, people, whether it's a movie, whether it's in text or anything, it is all readable if you look at it for what it is. It's all made for the sense of a genetic blueprint, a genetic code. It's genetic referencing to everything. We're back here at the box. Are we convinced that that's the box? That's the confessional box? Sure we are. Because I definitely overkilled it with that. Okay? So I'm going to take the confessional box down and come back here to this and start making more connections. Where am I going to put the confessional box down after I did that? Let me set that up here for now. Now, what else did Salvador Dali borrow from this? I was at the penis. I was at that. You can see a bunch of creatures. Oh, let's go here. Now, I see a penis here being bridged over. I see a penis there, a bunch of long other things and all, but I'm going to show you. You see this man's extended arm from this hand, this black hand, out. He's reaching over to this side over here. You see the foot coming to his face. I'm gonna cover those two. The foot coming to the end is here. All right, let me find them here. Where we at? Oh, here's the black hand in here. The hand is just like this one here. The hand is just like this one. Hold on. The hand is just like this one here, but it's shown being broken down genetically, going from being that the black hand of this creature, which had the control back then, to now the new hand of our white controller genetically, which is right here. And there it is right there. That's the hand over the foot right there. The same thing that's being implied right here. Now, how do we get a face to a foot? Well, easily. There's a man right here. At the other end, there's the foot up there. This implication here to this. Look, in that order. The guy that's down here, that's down at the black hand, is shown directly in line with this object right here, as Salvador Dali has done it. You see that? Straight down to that object. And there the man is in alliance with that foot, that object, straight down to, well, down here, I'm going off a little bit, right there, showing you that there was a genetic connection. And that's what this is all implying. Salvador Dali put his little twist on something that was already in existence. Now, there's also other things to be realized here, though, too. So, let me see if I can show you. How much time do I? It's only a few minutes. Okay, we're good. I don't want to draw these. I want to see if I can show you the ram-like creature. Let me take this out for a minute and turn it upside down, because it's actually hard to realize. There's a woman with this thing going in her nose, and I can't. I wonder if I have to do the smaller picture. I might have to do the smaller picture. This here, if you can see it, there's an eye right there. This is Salvador's painting turned sideways, showing you the injection from this penis, and you see creatures and everything else up in here. This man is, I mean, he was true to making these encryptions. Believe me when I tell you. But you should see my other videos on him. You notice that man is actually standing in the crevice of a mouth there. You notice that right there? And you can't see it, but it also dubs as that of a ram and plus another creature. But I'm going to show you it in a smaller likeness there. There's the eye. And you see how there's a mouth there? And that man is standing right there in the mouth. And then it shows you almost like a ram's head right there with the ruffles and stuff in there, and the ram's horn and all, but it shows you that it's encrypted. It is encrypted, people. However, you can Google the image and look for yourself. The same thing is right there. When you Google this image, there's an eye, there's a head, there's a nostril, and it's at the open mouth of this ram-like creature is this man here, showing you that there's a genetic bridging. It's showing you the genetics from our black ancestors that they evolved into. People, when I tell you that you can see faces, you can see faces. Hold on for 1 minute though. There's the ram-like horn right there, encrypted into the shoulder of the larger being, and it shows you other beings. But look how, and I have one being highlighted here, but look right here, how on this side there's a chin, there's a mouth, there's a nose, you'll see an eye with the leg actually standing up in the eye. Reminds me of the video I just did with the Security Council building in New York with that painting there, the crow, the per crow painting. It reminds me of how that woman was stepping out on our ancestors. On both feet was on one. Notice how there's a blood. It shows you a genetic connection between here and there. Look out here. There's an eye, and then there's a mouth. How this bridged over. People, I'm telling you, this stuff is deep. You know what I mean? This is some real deep stuff. This entire body is encrypted with creatures. If you turn it over, what is it? Our dinosaur creature, I believe, is. Where is our dinosaur? Right here. Now I done made it a little crazy there because there's so many different creatures up in here. But I drew a little pony, well, not a pony, a horse, that dubs as that as our dinosaur. And his mouth is shown here at the mouth of this being, showing you, look, the genetic bridging, showing you that on each cavity of this beast, which is our ancient black ancestor, which is the ape, that all of this stands for. These are all the genetics now, the cocktail of genetics that calls for the likeness of our ape ancestor, which calls for our black ancestor, and now calls for our white counterparts, and it shows you how they are bridging back into our ancestors' genetics. They're digging back into the box of our ancestral genetics. And that's what this is all about. And these implications of these demons are them going back into this box, and they're fighting genetically with these demons. And this is where we get our angels and demons from. This is what this is all about, and I can do this over and over and over again and show you in detail. What I need is a team to actually help me put it to you more professionally. But for now, I'll just do it in layman's sense and go from there. But you can look at this beast and see all of the implications that are actually being made there. And what else is there about Salvador Dali besides? What else is there? I guess I'm going to leave it with that. I'm going on 32 minutes. That's only a half an hour. I don't want to go rambling on here. And, of course, on top of the knife, Dali shows us the new genetic that was created. Just as up in here, up over top, what we can't see here, shows you that there was a genetic splicing and new genetics was created. And this is almost in the likeness of Salvador Dali, which I'm telling you that he genetically bridged himself. Now, also, people, what's being implied down here, you can see the same creatures that Dali done encrypted in the clouds. It's almost like if you, it reminds me of the US dollar, how you can verify that it's real because it has a waterline in it. I mean, not a waterline, like a strip in there that indicates that, I mean, you can't copy it or counterfeit it, and they say it's a proofing strip or something of that nature. What Salvador Dali puts here, as in most artists do, they actually encrypt it in the clouds as well too. And if you look into the cloud, remember they say don't look into the cloud. You see monkeys and all of this other stuff, and they like to say rabbits and laugh at you for seeing things in the cloud. Yeah, I see Bugs Bunny and all of this other crazy stuff here. Well, it's my position that the people that actually made those suggestions that you are seeing things know for a fact that those things are there, and they don't want you to see what they see. Because I can show you not only Salvador Dali, but back through all of the artists that came before him, and before them, all the way throughout space, that these images of our evolutionary ancestors, their faces appear in cloud masses and in nebulae matter. Another ancient secret that was kept from you. Everything that Salvador Dali is implying here, I assure you, is being said there. You take a close look, you'll see that it's showing you genetic bridging through blood, the indication of blood, penis, which represents semen. There's penis there, and it shows you who was responsible for this. These beings, these gargoyles, these Gothic-like beings, these ancient existences. Salvador Dali saying, hey, that ancient reptilian genetic is right here. Right there. And people they're guilty as charged. Salvador Dali is linked to the Vatican, Walt Disney, and many others, kings and queens. And he has recorded it in his paintings, what he did when he went there. He boastfully indicates that he had a sexual encounter with the Pope, as he is describing here, by these flying dildos or penises. And he's showing you that the contents were emptied out onto him. One of these objects is on his head. He showed you, look, it's broken, and then there's the other one on his head. We all know what comes out of condoms, and we all know what comes out of penises. The Pope is friendly waving to him, indicating that, hey, I'm here, it's my turn. Or he's waving goodbye, I done gave you my load. How come nobody never addressed this? Look, and then got nerve to have it shaped in the wheel of life, circling over his body, genetically bridged. People, y'all need to wake up. I'm going to end this video here because I'm getting sidetracked. I think that I covered everything with this, and it all started with this here. Salvador, this is not Salvador Dali's original idea. He stole the entire concept of this idea, of what he's stating here, from here. This is this. And to Google these images, you can start by looking at this object right here, because that is the identical object that's being implied right there. And I have tied this creature to that box, that gargoyle box, Gothic-like box. Let me put it back to you again, since I got a little bit more time here. That gargoyle creature to that box. Everything is interlinking and connecting. You know why? Because everyone is implying the same exact thing. That's why this is so simple for me to make these connections and ties. Look, that gargoyle creature holding that penis. He's doing the same thing here, people. That gargoyle creature is holding that penis. Because that gargoyle creature is this guy, genetically. And that box, which is the confessional box, is an indicator that they are involved. Where we at here? Let me go again one more time, people. One more time. Let's put them side by side. Let's do it side by side. Oh, let's do it side by side. Oh, whoa, whoa. That's kind of hard to do when you're trying to work it. Which one is going up and which one? Come on, people. What am I doing here? Okay. Let's keep it like that. Let me put this here. Let's do it side by side for a minute, because this is compelling. Salvador Dali is saying that this box with the cross on the top, which represents everything holy, is responsible for now what everything that I said. I'm telling you that the cross means cross-referencing of mankind's genetics. Well, Salvador Dali is now saying the same thing. That the cross, which now is been replaced by the penis, which represents genetics, is supporting that of the confession box, which is oversaw by these people. And in other images, Salvador Dali is boastfully stating that those people are responsible for sexual acts with him and genetic bridging with him. And not only did they perform in homosexual acts, it's condoned, because no one has pulled this from offline, or no one has even said anything about this. So, oh, he looks like he had slapping. I don't know what's going on there, but anyway, people, come on now. Alright, I done beat this to death. I'm going to let this go. You're watching my Jeronification channel. This is Jerome Wright. And I'll see you in my next video, which I'm sure would be just as interesting as this one, because I don't have no end. I'm wondering if they're ever they might pull the plug on me one day. I don't know. But so far, it seems like it's going. Watch when I start to go viral or something comes up, then I guess they'll pull the plug on me when I go viral. Huh. Hopefully I get rich enough from doing all this that I'll be able to buy my own TV station and look, and have this is all I'll be showing on TV every day. Everything else wouldn't matter after that, would it? Alright, I'm going to end this video here. I appreciate your viewing pleasure. That's it. I'll be addressing one day on how Salvador Dali got his face up here on the steps of the Philadelphia Museum, because this is a strong statement as well to people, because I've connected George Washington, who's right across the street from here on Monuments, to the same exact thing that Salvador Dali knowledge and what he's actually implying there. So it's truly amazing that Salvador Dali has gotten his face on the steps. I mean, you know, this is a major undertaking right here. That's a long flight of steps, people. I wouldn't count them, but I mean, that's a long flight of steps. I've walked that before, and that's a long flight of steps. They're the steps that Rocky ran up. This is a major undertaking for Salvador Dali that has his face up here. And you know what this represents? This represents blood, and this represents semen. Those colors. Blood and semen. That's what they represent. Salvador Dali played a major role in altering the genes of mankind, which is probably still yet to be seen. And that's what this is all about. That's what they're doing at the Vatican. They're cross-referencing mankind's genetics. And this is how Salvador Dali got away with making these statements. And still get to go visit the Pope. That's like calling the Pope a motherfucker. But yet can still go there. I guess so. I mean, you can get away with all that type of stuff. You done suck the man's dick, and he done suck yours. I guess you can go back and forth to the Vatican, because basically that's what they're implying here. They sucked each other's dick. How in the world? People, this is very disturbing. My name is Jerome Wright. I'm going to end this video with that. Thank you. This certain location right here. The blood. Now, what else is there? There's a foot that Salvador Dali has right there. You see that foot? Squeezing off on the other end, showing you that that is branched off on it as well too. And then there's a foot between on this side here. Well, if you look here at this image that he stole this idea from, there's up in the top there's like an angel cut almost out of the picture. And you'll see a limb of that being coming down to the other side there, just as Salvador Dali had, and it shows you a genetic bridging. So you have a limb of what we would think would be a human limb, actually, and it's shown that it's actually coming in contact with that object, with that bridged over blood, showing you bridging over, just as Salvador Dali has done in stealing his ideas, showing you that it was bridged over, wrapped over, and that's what's being implied there. Now, what else is being said here? Oh, hi everybody, Jerome right here again, and I'm going to be decoding in this image Salvador Dali's painting, and this is actually boil of soft beans, I believe it is, or something along that nature. Either soft beans boiled or beans boiled. It's because there's beans down here, by the way, people. That's the reason why. And it's my position that Salvador Dali copied this entire painting, this concept for this painting, from this image right here, an ancient Renaissance painting, which actually shows and depicts a demonic being. And all you have to do to get to this image is Google images of ancient demonic beings, or pictures of ancient demonic likenesses, and this image actually come up. I put this in my last video, and it's a reference actually made of genetics. That's why how I am able to know that Salvador Dali copied off of this image to make this image. It references genetic splice. This gargoyle-like being right here. Let me move this over a little. See that gargoyle-like being there, holding that penis in his hand, like so? Well, of course, Salvador Dali could not put that in there, because he would actually gonna let the secret out. But let me first explain what that gargoyle-like creature is first, because his likeness appears all throughout ancient Renaissance art and history. Here's that guy right here, standing in front of a pope. So why is he holding the Pope's good book? Look at the ring, look at the horns, look at the wings, and look at the greenish reptilian-like face of this guy. And look at this Pope. There's others inscriptions there, by the way, because I know that this is a representation of genetic bridging with the Pope, because it's implied by some of the contact that is being made, and the snakeskin is actually wrapped around the Pope's neck there, showing you that the Pope was genetically bridged, which is actually the cause for all of what is the same exact object. It's a representation of a penis being bridged over, and that's what's being said here. This object here behind this creature shows you a bridge between the ancient genetic stick, which represents that of the tree of life. Shows you a bridging. And Dali is showing here splicing by the utilization of a knife, which I've shown in some of my other videos, and that's what that is symbolic of, the knife or the sword or the axe. It shows a cut, a splice of ancient genetics. What is that penis-like object that Salvador Dali has there? You see the red first, it shows you blood and semen. This is an indicator here of blood going in one side there, and it's shown branching off into that. Salvador Dali does the same thing with, I had to bring it in smaller because it would have been out of the picture. This tongue-like object shown branched over from here. And genetic bridging. Okay? What genetics are being bridged off of? Well, if you've been watching all of my videos, which in a total of 100 plus, I believe 150 or so plus. Where's another tack? I just lost a tack in the middle of this. Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Here. Let me put the tack back in. And Salvador Dali has learned the ancient knowledge as to the true origins of mankind and their genetic manipulators, and he has made his paintings and life works a reference of that of what his knowledge is, in accordance to that of which he copied off of. I'm just going to go right into explaining these objects. You see this object right here? It is a representation of a penis. It is not Salvador Dali's idea. You see it right there? That object is right here. Identical.